right. So the first one is a cop from Texas. Let's see what he says here. Yep. Okay. So he says, I'm a police officer, in Texas. If I stop a vehicle for a fictitious temporary tag, like some of these these Texas dealer tags that are so, would that give you PC to search inside of the vehicle for more fictitious tags or maybe something else, more contraband, under the plain view doctrine, right? Well, we'll talk about that. But he says, it seems like a good search. So I guess let's lay down the ground rules, right? What gets us into a vehicle?
Can I back up just a little bit, though?
Sure.
When we're talking about this temporary tag on there's something that he's describing that he can tell that it's fictitious. Something's altered about it. It's not just your standard, that thing's valid. It was issued by the DMV or a car salesman or whatever it is. There's something about it that they can say, hey, there's reasonable suspicion at least.
At least reasonable suspicion. In other words, are you saying that we shouldn't just be stopping cars with temporary tags just to make sure?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, that's just want to touch on that real quick here.
Yeah, and there was a case of the 8th Circuit where an officer stopped a vehicle with a temp tag. And when he was asked in court, why did you do it? He basically said, a lot of these are fraudulent. I wanted to make sure it was legit. That's pretty much exactly what he said.
Right.
And the court said that is a straight up violation of the Fourth Amendment. You don't stop people just to make sure they're lawful.
Sure, right.
And they actually denied qualified immunity in a lawsuit against that officer.
Yeah, that's one of those things that we've discussed on the show a few times in here. There's these temporary tag type things. So it sounds like he's good. It sounds like he's at least got reasonable suspicion, if not probable cause that's fictitious there. Now, moving forward into the question is, can we search the car for further evidence of that? Well, on the surface, I just, with my mind, we've talked about this a lot. What are you going to tell a judge? Hey, judge, I think that there's a fair probability that there's more evidence of what's going on here. Now, you've got this fictitious tag on the outside of the vehicle. I want to know why you think there's more evidence inside there. And he said something about plain view. Is there something that we see inside there? Are there more fictitious tags in there? Is there, are they making these and selling these? I want to know why you think there's something inside that car.
The way I look at this, Mike, and I think this has always been really helpful for me, and maybe it's for the audience, is I always ask myself, if there happened to be a judge on scene and he tapped you on the shoulder and he says, hey, officer, before you get into that car, why do you think there's more evidence in that car? And when cops say things like, well, they have a meth pipe in their pocket, let's say that we do a pat down, and that's why, they have a fictitious tag on their car, and the judge says, that's all you have? Yes, Your Honor. Then obviously that's not really good probable cause, right? That's not really a very articulate way of saying there's a fair probability that more evidence is in that car. Now, what if this person, that the driver, has a recent history of fraudulent documents, meaning he's been arrested for this before?
That's a piece of the puzzle. That's, we talk about breadcrumbs maybe a little bit here. That's something that you can help to articulate why you think that there might be more. They're doing it now. Recency, you said, is a recent arrest, that they're continuing this crime. I think we're traveling down the road. I probably still want a little bit more, I think, in why you think that there's evidence inside that car.
Okay. So look, if you see more paper tags in a car, that's good to go. Yeah. If let's say that, I'm just making this up now because it's going to be kind of hard to have,
I'm going to jump in on it. I think there's a question you answered recently about the people stealing clothing from the store and whether or not they could search the car. And I think the thing you talked about, the smoking gun there, like the clothes in the back seat, if you saw the tag on
the inventory tags.
The inventory tags, and you said, there are no bags on there. I think, those are the things that I think would help us bridge the gap in something like this, something that's showing that, hey, this is going on right now. Yeah,
I agree. And I just think you need something more. Okay. So one of our listeners, watchers right now says, in Alabama, temporary tags are only good for 15 days. Is it permissible to stop the vehicle in order to see if they're within compliance of that time frame?
So I'm guessing there's nothing that's visible on.
Hey, Mark, can you see the date?
Yeah, here in Nevada, people who are abiding by the regulations when they put their temporary tag on the front windshield.
So,
if you can't see it.
Oh, okay. He's saying, he's following up. He says, dealers are required to put a date on the temp tag. What if that's missing?
Then I think that's reasonable
100%.
suspicion. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Or if it's out of the date. I know that in Nevada, it changes the law. It goes from, you get your temporary tag, and if it's not registered, it's now unregistered. You've moved past that window of that temporary moving permit. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, look, I would say if there's just anything off,
Yes.
But do not stop cars with this mentality that I'm just going to make sure it's a legit. We talked about the 8th Circuit case.
Yeah.
There's other cases that I have. It's not good case law. We don't stop people to make sure they're not criminals.
Right. There you go.
Even though they may be driving like a Dodge Neon or a Nissan Altima. I mean, you got a good pretext.
Right. Yeah, that's almost probable cause.
Right. I mean,
there,
a Nissan Altima. If it's especially like an early 2000s Nissan Altima or a 300, just stop it and just see what you get out of it. All right. Yeah, Mark says basically Mark says a Charger or a Challenger. Can we just agree any Dodge product at this point, except the Jeeps? I'm gonna leave the Jeeps out of it. I don't really think the Jeeps are gonna follow my stereotype.